Hi, this is a brief overview of the personal finance management app FitFin. Now, FitFin is unique in the fact that we look at budgeting down to the micro level, down to the product level, where others will look at it more at the macro level. So, for example, if I go to Walmart and I spend $100, that doesn't necessarily tell me anything. But if I spend $100 and specifically find out what I spent it on, I spent 20 on coffee, 15 on cereal, things like that. That's what FitFin can do for you. So as a user, you can then go out and you can figure out where exactly does my money go. So you can see on the home page, it is an envelope style budgeting tool, similar to what you've probably seen before. But what we do to get to the number, for example, this 2500 number in the upper right, is we start you at your fixed cost. So when you first sign up for an account, this is the page that you'll go to, and you can see that you can put in your monthly take-home pay after taxes. And then the second line here, the 2500, is fixed. There's nothing I can do there, but you'll see when I manipulate other lines how that changes. So as I'm entering my fixed costs, you'll also see how this percentage here changes. And we base our budgeting tool on the 50-30-20 rule, which is basically 50% of your fixed costs, or 50% of your take-home pay should go to your fixed costs, 30% go to variable, and then 20% go into savings or paying down debt. So when you enter these numbers in, it will automatically calculate that percentage for you to give you an idea of maybe how well you're doing against that rule. And you can actually customize this very much customizable. So for example, if I don't have a mortgage but I rent, I can long press on the word mortgage and I can change that to rent or change it to whatever I want to. I can delete if I wanted to, and I can add new fields by hitting the little red plus sign. So it's very customizable. And then when I'm done with all those numbers, so in this example, you can see I've got $5,000 of take-home pay, $2,500 of fixed costs at 50%. And when I'm done with it, I hit done with fixed costs down at the bottom, and it gives me a little spiel about, what the difference is between my take-home pay and my fixed expenses. It also reminds me that it's recommended to save 20% of my take-home pay. FitFin will help you track that, and you'll see that here in a second. So from this page, I would then go to set up my variable spending budget. And once you go to this page, this will be your home page from now on. So every time I come into FitFin, this is going to be the home page. And I can see up to the minute how I'm doing on my variable spending, because that's where people tend to get in trouble. The day-to-day spending of going to the store and different things like that, going out to eat. And down at the bottom, you'll notice that it tells me unmarked money, potential savings. In this case, I've got $1,000 that are not accounted for, or 20% of my overall take-home pay. And remember the 50-30-20 rule there. And what that means is I have a starting point of $2,500 in the upper right. Then I have $800. So if I subtract 800, subtract 150, subtract 150, subtract 150, subtract 100, subtract 150, that leaves me with $1,000 of unmarked money. So that's my goal, is to get that unmarked money as high as I can get it to help me save more money. And a couple ways that you actually add expenses to track on your day-to-day spending. I can add an expense manually at the very top by hitting that button, and it'll memorize transactions. So if I have Walmart in there, I can put the amount, whatever, or I can take pictures of my receipts. And you see the little camera button down at the bottom there. If I hit that, I don't have an actual receipt, but it'll open up my camera, and you can see I'm taking a picture of my knee here. But if I come out of that, once I take a picture of a receipt, where it's going to end up is over in the lower right-hand corner on the receipt icon. I come here, I can search for the last 7 days, last 30. I can do a custom range. I can search by store. I can even search by keyword. If I wanted to search all my receipts with bacon, I could do that. And you think about it from a practical standpoint, if I shop at Walmart all the time to buy groceries, but maybe one time I bought a TV at Walmart, I can quickly search that receipt by using the keyword. So very convenient for the user. If I just come down to the bottom and hit search receipt without putting any filter on, it's going to give me every receipt that I've ever had in FitFin. And you can see on the right hand side with anything with a receipt icon is an actual receipt. Anything without it is a manual expense. And if I open up one of these receipts, you can see the detail. And you can use these to take things back to the store, which is very convenient. And again, remember how easy it is to sort and find different things. I can also sort and find things at the top by clicking on amount, for example, clicking on store name, clicking on the date. The date is always going to be defaulted to the most recent dates at the top, but it's very easy for me to do that. Now, think about all the great stuff that's on a receipt. You not only do you have your what you bought, where you bought it, when you bought it, but you have specific detail of what you bought down to the product level. And that's what FitFin does. It'll look at that information for a user. So you can see some of these items here on this receipt. If I go to the little shopping cart down at the bottom, that takes me to my items, and I can find items on my receipt by hitting item search. I can search by store. So if I go to Costco, do a search, and you can see I've got different receipt information on here from my different trips to Costco. If I go to shopping list, now again, all the different things that I buy and the prices that I spend on them are valuable information from a spending standpoint. So if I go to shopping list and I can see the different stores that I have a list for, I go to Costco, it's going to give me the name of what I buy, the amount, and I can set the quantity. So the way that works is you can see right now I've got about 6 items that are orange. That means they're activated, and the total on those 6 items is $51.94. So if I were to add $5.29 for the carrots, you see how it went up a little bit. I add 15 and it goes up again. And so as I'm making my list, it's telling me what I'm going to spend. And so from a spending standpoint and controlling your spending standpoint, this is proactive budgeting versus reactive budgeting that you find everywhere else. And right next to the 7322 at the top, I have a check budget link. So I can go out to my budget and I can look in real time and I can say, yeah, I'm good to go, or maybe I need to go back to my list and trim it down a little bit depending on what's going on. Since we're on this page, you notice the green and the yellow, and then there's also red. If I'm at 75% or less of my budget, it'll be green. Once I hit 75%, it turns yellow. Once I go over, it turns red. So it's very visual there. So at the top, if I hit back to shopping list, it takes me back to the list. Literally, this becomes my list at the store. Another thing I can do is if the list gets really long, I can actually search by name, and it'll give me different things based on what I put in. And you can see here at Kirkland's signature, I just put KS. It gives me all those different things. If I wanted to select something, I could. If I hit the X, it just takes me back to everything. And I can actually sort the order of the shopping list too. So this right here is one of the best shopping lists that you're going to find out there. So going back to the My Items down on the shopping cart area, spend by product is great. So again, I have all of these different items that I buy. I buy them over and over again. I can come back and take a look at where my money goes. So again, if I need to cut $100 out of my spending every month, rather than arbitrarily say I want to cut $100 out of my spending, I come to here and I can say, where does the money go? Not only in the amount, but the quantity. So if I hit quantity right there, it tells me the products that I buy the most. I hit total amount, it tells me how much those cost. I can actually put parameters on it. If I wanted to check a certain month, I can do that. So it's a very good information for somebody to have, especially the more and more you use it, the more and more data that's going to collect and the more powerful it's going to make it. I can do the same thing for spend by store at the very bottom, and that helps me see where my money goes at the store level. One other thing I can do is I go to item search. I can do filter items by product name. So for example, I could put milk in there and it'll tell me of all the places I buy milk where it's cheapest, or eggs or anything like that. Again, helping you save even more money and figuring out maybe where the best place to buy things is. So that is a high-level overview of what FitFin does. Again, one of the greatest things is we take information that's on a receipt that most people throw away, and we leverage it for the consumer's benefit to help them manage their money both proactively before they go to the store and also after the fact by going back and seeing what did I spend my money on. And so it's an overall comprehensive way for you to save on your day-to-day expenses. So thank you very much. If you ever have any questions, drop us a line at info@fitfin.com.